Hey, welcome one and all. Thanks for coming to my third installment of Flight Fundamentals and Basics. Today we're going to be discussing the differences between flying in decoupled mode and coupled mode. And we're going to speak a little bit about aerodynamics and Newtonian physics, specifically regarding the second law of Newton regarding the law of motion. Now, Star Citizen is a space sim first and foremost. Flight in the atmosphere does not simulate real-world flight as found when it comes to aerodynamics and wings of the ship producing lift. That's not how this works. It's still Newtonian physics, even applied in an atmospheric condition. Once you get through your mind that the flight model is based in Newtonian physics, whether you're inside of a planet or outside, you're going to have a much better experience with flight and controlling your ship. Now, factors like drag on higher levels of surface area is a thing in atmospheric flight, but bear in mind, it's still based on Newtonian physics. The wings of your ship do not produce lift. That's not how this works. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about flight in coupled and decoupled mode. By default, your ship starts out in coupled mode, which means all the thrusters of your ship will fire to correct your ship's course and keep it moving in the direction that the nose of your ship is pointed. This does use more fuel to maintain your ship's position and direction of travel. When you go into decoupled mode, the small finite thrusters firing to keep your ship pointed in the direction of your nose stop firing, and your ship will continue on momentum based on where you've applied your main thrusters or strafe thrusters to put you in whatever direction of travel. Thrusters will not counterfire to maintain your current speed. Once you fire your thrusters to move in a direction, there will be no counter thrust to slow you down to keep you at the desired speed. Now, you do save a lot on fuel and you can get up to higher speeds faster, but changing your direction becomes a bit more tricky. So for easy to understand references, the difference between flying in decoupled and coupled mode. Decoupled, you are flying like you're in the expanse, drifting around with Newtonian physics. In coupled mode, it's like you're flying an X-Wing in Star Wars, World War II in space. Now, some of the more observant among you may have been watching the stream and noticed that the direction of travel of the ship, whether I'm in coupled or decoupled mode, isn't perfectly aligned with the crosshairs of my ship. Some of you may have noticed the two white brackets where the arrows are pointed at each other. That shows the true direction of travel. And as long as you keep that not pointed at whatever you do not wish to crash into, you're not going to crash into anything. And this is critical for low flying. And you've probably noticed that when I've reversed, there are those two little white brackets again, but the arrows are pointed away from each other. That shows the reverse direction of my current trajectory. Regardless of how fancy you fly and what you do in decoupled or coupled mode, if those brackets facing each other are not pointed at anything in particular, you are not going to crash into anything. This also helps you navigate into the hangar of a station and not hit a wall on the way in, regardless of what you're doing. Remember, don't look at the crosshairs to confirm direction of travel. Look at the brackets, and I will show you the settings on how to keep those brackets visible. As promised, here is the settings. Go into Options menu, game settings. You scroll down a quarter to a third of the way, and it is listed right here under pilot velocity indicator. Set it to always on. That's it. As per usual, please enjoy the short montage at the end of the video. Thank you for making it this far and listening to my ramblings. Until next time, happy gaming.